Hi everyone, my name is Abhiraj Garakapati. Welcome to my YouTube channel Amazing Abhi. Welcome back. This video covers the projected story of Solo Leveling Season 3, assuming the anime continues after Season 2 and adapts manhwa chapters 111 to 149. This season would be very different from the first two. Season 1 was about survival. Season 2 was about proving Jinwoo had become something beyond S-rank. Season 3 is where the world finally begins to understand that Jinwoo is not just a powerful hunter. He is connected to the deepest secret behind the gates, the system, the rulers, and the monarchs. We begin with Jinwoo building his own guild, move into the return to the double dungeon where everything started, then enter the Japan crisis, and finally reach the International Guild Conference, where the strongest people on Earth start watching him very closely. Before Season 3 begins, we need to remember where Season 2 leaves us. The Jeju Island raid changed everything. Korea was facing a nightmare it could not solve alone, and then Jinwoo arrived late, destroyed the Ant King, turned Baru into one of his strongest shadows, and saved the remaining hunters. To ordinary people, he looks like a national hero. To hunter associations and foreign guilds, he looks like a mystery that must be studied carefully. And to the hidden forces behind the world, he is becoming dangerous. This is the perfect starting point for Season 3, because Jinwoo is no longer just leveling quietly. Every fight from this point forward pulls him closer to the truth of what the system really is. Season 3 would open with a surprisingly grounded move. After becoming famous, Jinwoo could join any major guild and instantly become their biggest asset. Instead, he creates his own guild with Yu Jinho. This is important because it shows how Jinwoo thinks. He does not want to be controlled by politics, sponsors, or powerful organizations. He wants freedom. Yu Jinho becomes his trusted partner, and their guild may look small from the outside, but everyone who understands Jinwoo's strength knows this is not ordinary. The Ajin Guild is basically a quiet declaration. Jinwoo will make his own path. He is not following the hunter world anymore. The hunter world is slowly beginning to follow. The Ajin Guild arc becomes personal when danger reaches Jinwoo's sister, Jinna. Monsters and enemies are no longer only appearing inside controlled raid zones. The feeling changes from adventure to alarm. Jinwoo has always fought to protect his family, especially after his mother's illness and his father's disappearance. So when his sister is placed in danger, the story reminds us why he became strong in the first place. This moment also helps the audience feel the emotional pressure under his calm expression. Jinwoo may seem unbeatable, but the people around him are not. That makes every attack near his family more frightening than a normal dungeon battle. It tells us that the coming war will not respect safe place. After the personal tension of the Ajin Guild arc, the story pulls Jinwoo back to the most important location in Solo Leveling, the Double Dungeon. This is not just another raid. This is the place where he was once helpless, where the statues massacred hunters, and where the system chose him. Returning there creates a powerful full-circle moment. In Season 1, Jinwoo entered that temple as the weakest hunter. In Season 3, he returns as someone the world already fears. But the question is different now. It is no longer, can Jinwoo survive? The question becomes, why did the system choose him at all? That mystery becomes the heart of the next major arc. The Double Dungeon arc would likely be the emotional and mystery-heavy center of Season 3. The atmosphere should feel familiar, but much heavier. The smiling statue, the silent rules, and the cruel temple all return. But this time Jinwoo does not enter as prey. He walks in with confidence, power, and the experience of countless battles. Still, the dungeon is not impressed by fame or rank. It was built for something bigger than the hunter system humans understand. This arc is important because it connects Season 1 horror to Season 3 mythology. The place that once looked like a death trap is revealed to be a testing ground, and Jinwoo is finally close enough to demand the truth. Inside the Double Dungeon, Jinwoo faces the being connected to the system's design, often known as the Architect. This changes the meaning of the entire story. Until now, the system looked like a strange game interface that helped Jinwoo grow stronger. But here, we learn it was never just a blessing. It was a tool, a test, and part of a much larger plan. The Architect wants to see whether Jinwoo can truly hold the power prepared for him. The fight should feel intense because Jinwoo is battling the very structure that created his second life. Every level, every quest, every reward, and every punishment suddenly feels connected to this moment. Before we move ahead, Please take a second to like on this video. A like tells me that you enjoyed this topic. Your support helps Amazing Apply grow naturally. The Double Dungeon arc ends with one of the biggest reveals in solo leveling. Jinwoo's strength is not random, and the system was never created simply to make him stronger for fun. His power is tied to the Shadow Monarch, and the world is caught in a conflict far larger than humans realize. This is where the audience should feel the scale shift. Hunters, guilds, and national rankings suddenly look small compared to rulers and monarchs. Jinwoo is no longer just climbing a ranking board. He is being pulled into a cosmic war. For a Season 3 anime, this would be the perfect mid-season shock, because it redefines the entire series while still keeping Jinwoo at the center. After the mythology-heavy Double Dungeon arc, Season 3 would explode into large-scale disaster with the Japan Crisis. A massive gate opens and giants begin destroying cities. This arc is important because it shows the real cost of gates when hunters cannot contain them. Japan's strongest defenders are overwhelmed, and the situation becomes a national emergency. The tone should feel desperate. Buildings fall, civilians run, and the world watches as a major country struggles against monsters too large and too many to handle. This is where Jinwoo's strength stops being a rumor or a Korean headline. The world is about to see what happens when he brings the full power of his shadow army onto an open battlefield. When Jinwoo finally arrives in Japan, the arc shifts from disaster to domination. This is the type of sequence that would be visually incredible in anime. The giants are massive, terrifying, and overwhelming, but Jinwoo's response is even more frightening. He does not fight like a normal hunter. He spreads his shadow soldiers across the battlefield, hunts giants at impossible speed, and turns a national catastrophe into a showcase of absolute power. This is also where the public image of Jinwoo changes again. He is no longer just the hunter who saved Jeju. He becomes the person who can walk into a collapsed country and reverse the outcome of a disaster almost. By the end of the Japan Crisis, Jinwoo has done something that changes global politics. He did not simply win a fight. He saved a country from a disaster that even elite hunters could not stop. That makes him admired, feared, and impossible to ignore. This is a key emotional shift for the story. Jinwoo does not ask to become a political symbol, but his power naturally makes him one. Every country, every guild, and every intelligence group begins asking the same question: how strong is he really, and can anyone control him? This sets up the International Guild Conference, where the story moves from monster battles into the world of hunter politics, national-level hunters, and hidden threats. The International Guild Conference arc is where Season 3 would slow down just enough to build tension. After Japan, Jinwoo is invited to America, where the strongest hunters and most powerful guilds gather. This is not just a meeting. It is a stage where everyone is measuring status, influence, and strength. Jinwoo's calm behavior makes him even more intimidating because he does not try to impress anyone. He simply exists, and that is enough to disturb the balance. We also see how differently foreign organizations view him. Some want to recruit him, some want to test him, some want to understand him, and some are already afraid of what he represents. One of the biggest highlights of the International Guild Conference arc is the clash involving Thomas Andre, the powerful master of the Scavenger Guild. Thomas is not an ordinary top hunter. He is built like a wall of pure force and has the reputation to match. So when he collides with Jinwoo, the fight becomes a statement to the entire world. Jinwoo does not simply survive against a national-level figure. He shows that the usual rankings can no longer explain him. This is the kind of fight that should make the audience lean forward, because it is not only about who wins. It is about watching the strongest human powers realize that Jinwoo may have already moved beyond their category. Before we move ahead, please take a second to share on this video. Sharing helps this video reach friends who may also enjoy anime, gaming, travel, cricket, chess, career basics, or personal stories. Your support helps Amazing Apply grow naturally. As the conference arc closes, the story starts pointing directly toward the Monarch's War. This is the perfect Season 3 cliffhanger. Humans are busy ranking Jinwoo, recruiting him, fearing him, and trying to understand him. But the real enemies already know what he is becoming. The Monarchs are not interested in hunter politics. They see Jinwoo as a threat connected to the Shadow Monarch. That means the next conflict will be far more dangerous than Japan or Jeju Island. Season 3 should end with the feeling that Jinwoo has won every visible battle, but the invisible war has only just begun. The audience should feel excited, worried, and ready for Season 4. Here is the clean Season 3 structure. First, the Ajin Guild arc shows Jinwoo becoming independent and protecting the people closest to him. Second, the Double Dungeon arc brings him back to the origin of the story and explains the purpose of the system. Third, the Japan Crisis arc turns the story into a country-level disaster and lets Jinwoo demonstrate the true scale of his shadow army. Fourth, the International Guild Conference arc places him among the strongest hunters in the world and makes it clear that normal hunter rankings no longer apply to him. Together, these arcs create a powerful season: personal beginning, mystery reveal, massive action, and global tension. The main reason Season 3 matters is that it changes the central question of solo leveling. In Season 1, we ask whether Jinwoo can survive. In Season 2, we ask how strong he can become. But in Season 3, the question becomes, what is Jinwoo really becoming? The system, the Double Dungeon, the Shadow Monarch, the rulers, and the monarchs all begin connecting into one larger story. At the same time, Jinwoo's human side remains important. He still cares about his family, his friends, and the people he protects. That balance is what makes this section exciting. He is becoming something almost divine, but his reasons for fighting are still deeply human. To close the video, you can say this: if Season 3 adapts chapters 111 to 149, then it will end right before solo leveling enters one of its darkest and most important stages, the Monarch's War. Jinwoo will have proven himself to Korea, Japan, America, and the entire hunter world. But none of that will be enough for what comes next. The strongest enemies are not dungeon bosses anymore. They are beings who understand the Shadow Monarch's power and are ready to move against him directly. So Season 3 would not just be another action season. It would be the final build-up before solo leveling becomes a war for the fate of the world. And that is exactly why this part of the story deserves series. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to Amazing Appy. Subscribing makes sure you do not miss the next video, and it gives me motivation to keep improving the quality of every upload. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one.